Canada is making a major change in its energy trade. After years of relying on traditional partners, the country is now looking outward, seeking new opportunities and markets for its vast natural resources. For decades, it sent most of its oil and gas south to the United States. This relationship shaped Canada's energy industry, with pipelines and railways built to serve American demand. But as global energy needs shift and new players emerge, Canada is rethinking its strategy. Now, that is changing. The country has started shipping its liquefied natural gas, or LNG, directly to Asia. This marks a significant departure from the past, opening up a new era for Canadian exports. This is a deliberate move to find new customers and build new partnerships across the Pacific Ocean. By tapping into Asian markets, Canada is diversifying its trade and reducing its reliance on a single buyer. The first official shipment marks a historic moment for the nation. It's the result of years of negotiation, investment, and collaboration between government, industry, and indigenous communities. A massive tanker loaded with Canadian LNG left the port of Kitimat, British Columbia, bound for Japan. This journey is the culmination of careful planning and technological innovation. This voyage is about more than fuel. It's a signal that Canada is open for business with Asia. It represents a new chapter in international cooperation, promising economic growth and stronger ties between continents. Years of planning and investment have led to this new chapter for Canada's global role. Thousands of workers, engineers, and local communities contributed to building the infrastructure needed to make this vision a reality. Growing Asian economies like Japan, South Korea, and China are hungry for energy, and Canada now has the infrastructure to deliver. These countries are seeking reliable, cleaner sources of energy to power their cities and industries. The successful delivery to Japan proves Canada can compete in the global LNG market. It demonstrates the country's ability to meet international standards and deliver on time, building trust with new partners. This new trade route could reshape global energy dynamics and redefine Canada's international relationships. As the world transitions to cleaner energy, Canada's pivot to Asia positions it as a key player in the future of global energy trade. The LNG Canada project stands as a monumental achievement in the nation's energy landscape, symbolizing both ambition and innovation on the Pacific coast. It is one of the largest private sector investments in Canadian history, representing a multi-billion-dollar commitment to the future of energy. Strategically located in Kitimat, British Columbia, the site was carefully selected for its direct access to the Pacific Ocean, making it a gateway to global markets. The project is a joint venture led by Shell, with major partners from Malaysia, China, Japan, and South Korea, reflecting a truly international collaboration. Designed to be one of the cleanest LNG export terminals in the world, the facility harnesses British Columbia's abundant hydroelectric power, significantly reducing greenhouse gas emissions compared to traditional LNG plants. This strong focus on sustainability is central to Canada's pitch to climate-conscious buyers, positioning the country as a responsible energy leader in a changing world. Kitimat's unique location offers a much shorter and faster shipping route to key Asian markets than U.S. Gulf Coast terminals, giving Canadian LNG a competitive edge. This translates to lower transportation costs, fewer emissions during transit, and a more reliable supply chain for Asian buyers who are seeking both efficiency and environmental responsibility. The facility is engineered to produce an impressive 14 million metric tons of LNG annually, with ambitious plans for future expansion to meet growing global demand. Feeding this massive operation is the new 670-kilometer Coastal GasLink pipeline, which connects rich natural gas fields in northeastern British Columbia directly to the terminal. Together, the pipeline and terminal form a powerful new energy corridor, strengthening Canada's infrastructure and its role in the international energy market. This project positions Canada as a direct and reliable supplier to the world's fastest-growing energy markets, especially in Asia, where demand for cleaner fuels is surging. It's a bold step toward economic diversification, job creation, and enhancing Canada's global relevance in the energy sector. The sheer scale and technological innovation of LNG Canada set a new standard for the industry, showcasing what's possible when vision, collaboration, and sustainability come together on the world stage. The LNG Canada project has not been built without controversy. While it promises economic benefits, it has sparked serious environmental concerns. Climate activists warn that expanding fossil fuel infrastructure undermines Canada's climate commitments. The project has divided indigenous communities. The Haisla Nation supports it for economic reasons, while some Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs oppose the pipeline crossing their traditional lands. This conflict has led to protests and highlighted the complex issues of indigenous rights and land title in Canada. The government and project backers are caught between economic development, environmental responsibility, and legal obligations to consult indigenous peoples. Fines for environmental non-compliance have fueled skepticism. The debate continues over whether Canadian LNG will help Asia reduce coal use or simply add more fossil fuels to the global mix. Canada's investment in LNG is about economic diversification. For too long, over 95% of its natural gas exports went to the US, often at a discount. By opening a trade corridor to Asia, Canada aims to break free from this dependency. The LNG Canada facility unlocks the value of vast natural gas reserves. International partners like Shell and Petronas see it as a stable, long-term energy source. They also promote Canadian LNG as a cleaner transition fuel for Asia. The project has created thousands of jobs and will generate billions in tax revenue. Supporters say this economic activity is vital for northern communities. The Vision LNG powers homes in Asia and growth in Canada. It's a strategic move for prosperity and energy independence. Canada wants to be recognized as a major global energy player. As Canada celebrates its new trade route to Asia, it faces renewed pressure from its closest ally. Former President Trump, campaigning for a return to office, has announced aggressive new tariffs. A proposed 35% tariff on all Canadian goods entering the US threatens to disrupt the deeply integrated economies. The plan is broad, targeting not just Canada but also Brazil, the EU, and BRICS nations. This protectionist agenda marks a dramatic escalation of trade wars. The implementation date is set for August 1, 2025, with no delays. Businesses are scrambling to assess the impact on supply chains. The threat of retaliatory tariffs raises fears of a global trade slowdown. For Canada, the timing is especially tough as it tries to build economic independence. The tariff threat underscores why Canada is seeking new markets in Asia. The proposed US tariffs represent a seismic shift in trade policy, marking one of the most significant changes in decades. These measures are not just minor adjustments, they signal a fundamental rethinking of how the US engages with its trading partners around the world. Canada, one of America's closest allies and largest trading partners, now faces a staggering 35% tariff on a wide range of products. This includes everything from lumber and paper to auto parts and machinery, affecting industries that have long been tightly integrated with the US economy. Such a steep tax could make Canadian goods uncompetitive almost overnight, putting immense pressure on manufacturers. The result? Factory closures, layoffs, and entire communities at risk of losing their economic lifelines. Brazil, the European Union, and Vietnam are also in the crosshairs, each facing similarly steep tariffs. This signals a dramatic move away from decades of free trade agreements and global cooperation. A universal 15 to 20% tariff on most imports would upend the established rules of global trade, affecting everything from consumer electronics to agricultural products. The ripple effects would be felt in every corner of the world. Targeted nations are scrambling to respond. Some are urgently seeking exemptions through diplomatic channels, while others are openly threatening to retaliate with their own tariffs, raising the stakes even higher. China, a major player in global trade, has already warned that it will impose its own set of tariffs if the US moves forward, setting the stage for a potential escalation. This tit-for-tat could quickly spiral into a full-blown global trade war, with each side raising barriers and the risk of economic damage growing with every new announcement. The uncertainty is paralyzing businesses of all sizes, disrupting carefully planned supply chains, and making it nearly impossible for companies to plan for the future. Companies are left guessing which products will be hit next and how hard, forcing them to reconsider investments, hiring, and even their long-term strategies. The global economy is on edge, with markets reacting to every new headline and investors bracing for the possibility that these threats could soon become reality. The stakes for Canada, and indeed for the entire world, are enormous. The outcome of these trade disputes could reshape the global economic landscape for years to come. The announcement of new US tariffs has rattled the global economy. American companies warn they'll have to pass costs to consumers, raising prices on everyday goods. Businesses relying on imported parts face tough choices: absorb costs or risk losing customers. Countries like Vietnam and the EU are negotiating for exemptions while China prepares to retaliate. Global supply chains built for efficiency are now threatened by sudden tariffs. Companies may need to find new suppliers, driving up costs and delays. The uncertainty is slowing investment and economic growth. Key trade negotiations have stalled, adding to unpredictability. The world is in economic limbo, with businesses and consumers bracing for higher costs. The combination of tariff threats and stalled deals has left markets uneasy. The future of international trade hangs in the balance. Canada is fighting a battle on two fronts. On one side, LNG shipments to Asia offer a path to prosperity and independence. On the other, a 35% US tariff threatens its largest trading relationship. This dual reality defines Canada's economic landscape. The uncertainty from the south makes new partnerships in the east even more valuable. The LNG project is now economic insurance, not just a profit venture. Canada must balance investing in Asia with defending its US trade ties. Success depends on managing both opportunities and threats. The coming months will test Canada's ability to adapt. The stakes: economic security and global relevance. How Canada navigates this moment will shape its future. Canada's path forward is complex but clear. The nation must fully commit to its pivot toward Asia. The first LNG shipment is just the beginning. Building trust and long-term contracts with Asian partners is essential. At the same time, Canada must prepare for a rockier US relationship and potential tariffs. This means legal, diplomatic, and economic strategies to protect its interests. Developing new markets gives Canada more flexibility and control. The goal is a balanced, resilient economy, not abandoning the US, but reducing over-dependence. The world is watching how Canada manages this critical moment. The choices made now will determine Canada's economic trajectory for decades to come.